Hey friends, welcome. I'm Dr. Rachel Paul. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Today we are talking about my top 10 weight loss mistakes and how to avoid them. We are going to first talk about calories and foods. We're going to then talk about mental shifts, and finally we're going to talk about exercise. All right, let's talk about my 10 weight loss mistakes. Weight loss mistake number 1 is only eating low-calorie foods. Now here's the deal, lower calorie foods, these are typically high carbohydrate foods, right? Like a rice cake by itself or a non-fat yogurt by itself. Typically these foods are not very filling by themselves. You're pretty hungry soon afterwards. So it's a really good idea to eat foods that are higher in fats and protein to keep you full. Now I see a lot of comments on TikTok, oh, how can you be eating nuts for weight loss? How can you be eating oil for weight loss? Yes, there are more calories per gram in fat versus protein and carbohydrates, but actually fat keeps you full. So you're actually going to be fuller for longer and not needing to grab an extra snack soon after you eat. So nuts and oil are great healthy fats to keep you full. I've used them in this salad here. That's a great lunch to keep you full for hours. This salad is a bed of greens. I have a can of tuna, feta, and pecans, and this lunch is one of my favorite go-to lunches that I can make in 5 minutes or less. It's gonna keep me full until a snack 3 to 4 hours later. All right, let's talk about mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 I see is people trying to eat in too large of a calorie deficit. Now here's what a calorie deficit means, because I see some confusion. So your body needs a certain amount of calories to maintain its current weight. Being in a calorie deficit means you are eating fewer calories than that, so you're losing some weight per week. Now, some people, what they like to do is be in an extreme calorie deficit where they want to see the weight come off very quickly. This can happen at first, but the problem with this method is that it's not sustainable, right? You don't create long-term habit changes because you are in such an extreme calorie deficit that when you get to your goal weight, you don't know how to maintain it. So then you put that weight back on, which is no good. That totally defeats the purpose of losing weight, right? So what I recommend instead is being in a 250 calorie deficit, which is losing half a pound per week. I really like the Lose It app. I have no affiliation with them. I just think it's a great, easy to use app. When putting in your information into the app, I recommend choosing the 1/2 pound weight loss per week option. So again, you can create those long-term habit changes. All right, let's talk about mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 is thinking you need to prepare all of your meals from scratch. This is not true. Shortcuts are not bad. Shortcuts are actually a good thing because it makes creating new habits that much easier. And you want to create your new habits that are easy and fun, right? So for example, instead of making guac from scratch, which of course is wonderful and delicious, you can buy single serving packets of guacamole. These last for a few weeks. You don't have to worry about the guac going brown or going bad. And it's one step versus getting all the different ingredients. And you are not cheating. This is totally fine, right? Another easy thing to do is to buy something like a burger patty already in burger patty formation, rather than trying to get ground beef and creating the patties and then they crumble and fall apart. It's okay, you can buy them in patties amounts by themselves, right? There's lots of other examples. These are 2 easy examples, but make your life easy. Creating new habits can be easy and fun. All right, let's talk about mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is thinking you have to give up a certain food group or your favorite foods. This is just not true. All foods are allowed. No food is a bad food. No food is a food to be avoided. You absolutely can include whichever foods you want to in your way of eating. You do want to prioritize how your body feels. So eating a whole pizza or a huge amount of food from McDonald's all at one time probably won't feel good, right? Just like eating a salad of just vegetables is not gonna feel good either. You're not gonna be full enough, right? So you wanna think about which foods in which amounts keep your body feeling its best. So maybe it's a burger from McDonald's and a salad you make from home. It has something in the middle. All right, let's talk about mistake number 5. Mistake number 5 is drinking your calories. Now, when I was in college, had the misconception that drinking calories did not count. Like if I had a lemonade, it would kind of go through me. I'm not really exactly sure what my thought process was here, but that's what I thought, is that drinking calories didn't count versus eating some calories from food. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Where we really get into trouble is actually drinking a lot of calories because our brains don't process it the same way as if we're chewing something. You can think about it if you had a really large Coke. Like, is that filling? If you had a large Coke, are you full from that Coke? Probably not, right? Versus if you had maybe some vegetables and some protein and fat, maybe in a bowl, the same amount of calories as this huge soda, you'd probably be a lot more full, right? Calories for calories. So it's a really good idea to try to not drink your calories and try to chew them and eat them instead. All right, let's talk about mistake number 6. Mistake number 6 is relying on willpower. Now, tell me if this has happened to you. You are being good with your diet and you get to the end of the day and you haven't planned for a healthy dinner and you are just exhausted. You have no willpower left, so you give in to getting fast food on the way home and then you're unhappy with that decision. There is nothing wrong with you. This is what happens when we rely on willpower. So what I want you to do instead is 2 things. Number 1, create a loving, realistic plan for yourself the day before. You do need to do this the day before so you can make decisions with your prefrontal cortex and not rely on willpower in the moment. Now, when I said create a loving, realistic plan, that's exactly what I meant. I don't mean a super strict plan. I don't mean a plan without any fun foods. Create a plan for yourself with your favorite foods, right? And then number 2, if you have cravings in the moment, let's say you created your loving, realistic plan, but then in the moment you do want to get some McDonald's. What I want you to do is breathe through that craving. Listen to your body. If it's a decision that you will be happy with for the long term, if getting some McDonald's, maybe having some vegetables along with it, if you're gonna be happy with that decision, that's totally fine. But a lot of times we would actually prefer to breathe through that craving. Nothing bad is gonna happen to you. Cravings are just vibrations in your body. Breathe through that craving, go home, and create a dinner that you're going to be happy with instead. But both options can be fine. All right, let's talk about mistake number 7. Mistake number 7 is thinking you have to give up your social life. Now, I see a lot of people have this issue where they think that I can either go out with my friends and have tacos and margaritas and love my life, or if I'm losing weight, I have to sit at home and eat broccoli and chicken that's really bland and hate my life. They get into this really black and white thinking, but that is just not true. There are so many shades of gray in between those 2 options. So let's think about some other options right now. Here's one example. You can make your realistic, loving plan for yourself to go out with your friends, have a certain number of drinks, have certain tacos that fit into your plan. That's one great option, right? Another option is to invite your friends over and create margaritas and tacos at your house where you're more in control of the ingredients. And there's lots of options in between. So I don't want you to think that you have to give up your social life when you're losing weight, because that's just not true. We do need to learn how to incorporate our social life into our new behaviors, because this is a new lifestyle, right? This is a new way of being. So if we learn good habits now in social situations, we'll have those habits moving forward. All right, let's talk about the next mistake. Mistake number 8 is making huge changes. Now, I know it sounds exciting to create a huge goal and to set huge expectations for yourself. And of course, we do want to make big changes in our lives, but what's actually best is to start small. So I want you to think about your life, think about what's going on in your life right now, and what small changes can you make that will have the biggest difference. So what I see is creating a 250 calorie deficit, like we talked about before, a small calorie deficit so you can create those long-term habit changes, right? Creating a plan for your higher carb foods, starches, fruits, dessert, and alcohol, and then tracking what you're eating. This way it allows you for flexibility in your day-to-day life. Let's talk about the next mistake. Mistake number 9 is making overeating a big deal. Now, has this ever happened to you? You are maybe mindlessly eating some cookies and then you realize you've eaten more cookies than you wanted to and you don't feel good. Nothing has gone wrong. This always happens to us as humans. We are human, this happens. The mistake I see here, what gets us in trouble, is making that a big deal, and it's not a big deal. When we make it a big deal, we can think something like screw it, I might as well eat the rest of this package of cookies, and then I might as well get a pizza, my diet is ruined, I might as well really go to town, start over again tomorrow, start over again on Monday, that type of thing, and the cycle continues, right? The biggest mindset shift here is not making overeating a big deal. This is the magic. So when you do overeat, and it does happen, it will happen, we're human, it still happens to me. Whenever you do overeat, think about, how can I handle the situation differently next time? Write it down and just move on. The best thing you can do in this situation is exactly that. Just move on, make a plan, and continue on with your healthy habits. All right, let's talk about the next mistake. Mistake number 10 is doing too much high-intensity exercise. Now, it's a natural consequence of high-intensity exercise that it makes you extra hungry, right? Nothing has gone wrong. This is human biology. This is what happens. But then it's too easy to overeat, right? Something else I see is people think, like, oh, I'm going to do this high-intensity exercise class. I need to make sure I have enough energy and eat extra food to have enough energy. And then we really eat too much, right? Or we get into the mindset of, oh, I just did this extra activity. I deserve to eat an extra dessert. I deserve to eat an extra portion at dinner. And we can really overdo it, right? Now, exercise is so healthy. It's really good for our bodies. It's important to do, but we don't want to do that high-intensity exercise because it really ends up backfiring. What we want to do instead is something more low intensity, like resistance training. Walking is great exercise, bar yoga, maybe some dancing that's fun, something that's not going to be too strenuous where you're going to get too hungry afterwards. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching my top weight loss mistakes and how to fix them. I would love it for you to like this video, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you're notified of the next video, and I can't wait to see you next time.